there's 5 bits of information you need to look for on an abrasive disc. Okay, I'm just going to run through those now. So the first thing you need to have on an abrasive disc is a manufacturer's name. Okay, that serves as an accountability to the HSE. Secondly, we need to know the size of the disc. So printed on the label here it says 125mm. Okay, so that's a 5-inch disc. Going back to our machine, on the manufacturer's label it says there 125mm. So that relates to the size of disc that goes on the machine. Okay, so we've got 125mm, okay, and a 6mm disc. 6mm disc tells me that's the thickness. Okay, so that tells me that is a grinding disc. Any disc that's 5mm and thicker is a grinding disc. Okay, next we need to look at the speed of the disc. Okay, so max RPM is 12,200. Okay, going back to our machine, on the manufacturer's label it says that this machine runs at 12,000 RPM. Alright, so the important thing to remember here is the speed rated on the disc should always be greater than the speed in the machine. If the speed on the disc is rated less than the machine and you put that disc on, it will burst. Okay, so to remember, the speed of the disc should always be greater than the speed of the machine. So we've looked at manufacturer's name, the size of the disc and the speed. Okay, the next thing we need to know is the date. So abrasive wheels have a sell by date or a use by date. Okay, so on this disc, and it might be quite difficult for you to see, it says on there, stamped on the boss, it's V10 2014. So this disc expires in October 2014. The last thing is the code on the disc. Okay, so this refers to what type of material you can grind or cut. It says metal on this disc, but what you need to have on there is this code. So the A in the code stands for aluminium oxide. That's the type of grit. 24 is the size of grit. So like your sandpaper, the lower the number, the bigger the grit, the more coarse it is. Okay. The next we have a letter of the alphabet. The letter R is the hardness of the disc. Now the closer the letter is to Z, the harder the disc. The closer the letter is to A, the softer the disc. So the harder your material, the softer disc. The softer your material, you want a harder disc. After the letter of the alphabet, we then have another 2 letters, which is B and F. The B stands for Bakelite resin, the F stands for fiberglass reinforced matting. Okay, so those 5 bits of information need to be on the disc. Something else we need to look for, you might have those information on the disc, but you also need to inspect the disc for its condition. Okay, so what we're looking for is that it's not damaged, it hasn't got any cracks, it hasn't got any chips, it looks in good working order, it looks as good as new. The bosses are here, they're nice and present, there's no damage to the boss, and look for contamination as well. Things people always miss is water and oil contamination on a disc. Okay, if any water or oil has contaminated a disc, it will make the disc soft. You try and use it, the disc's gone soft and it will just burst. It could cause a grey area. Once we're happy with the disc and all the information's there, we just then need to fit it to the angle grinder itself. So putting on the back flange you can see is located and it's keyed to the spindle. We then fit our disc onto the spindle using the top flange. Okay, because this is a nice thick disc, we're able to put the mushroom shape on the flange down inside the disc, which will give you a better hold. Put that on finger tight, and then using the spindle lock underneath, depress the spindle lock. Using the correct peg spanner, we then just nip the disc up. No need to over tighten it because it will self tighten during use. Once that's nipped up, we then just rotate the disc with your finger, making sure that it's located on the spindle and it's not camming out. Once you're happy with that, you're up and away.